Oh, that flew a little too
Well,
much.
really nice.
About last year, yeah, volleyball game.
We're underrated.
I find that quite rude.
Do it to Aaron. I just thought it'd be funny.
Not happening.
Sorry, Aaron.
That was kind of fun. We do it next hour if somebody walks in late, they get hit with the volleyball. That's how we do it.
Yeah.
That's
I
what
think,
we do.
I think we should do that.
I already have it.
Yeah. Oh, she hit you in the head. How dare she? Okay, thank you. All right. So this is the motion for a ball or for something that's thrown upward into the air, and the deal is that it is a function that models height as time. So as time goes by, the height changes. What shape does it make? It makes a parabola. Okay, so I'm just going to draw that, for example, just so I can get that conceptual idea in my head. And it says, what is the maximum height the ball reaches? Okay? Tell me something about the time at which it reaches the maximum height.
It's not right away, and it's not.
It's at T time.
You tell me when I get to the maximum height.
Right there.
Tell me something about that spot. Derivative is 0. Everybody agree?
Yes.
See, this is the beautiful thing is that when we want to maximize or minimize things, so often we just take the derivative, we set it equal to 0. So in this situation, all we do is we say h prime of t, or velocity. Okay, we want to know when the velocity is 0. We take the derivative. What's the derivative? 18t. 18, that's easy. Minus 9.8t. And we set that equal to 0. And so we have 18 is equal to 9.8t. Somebody on your calculator, take 18 divided by 9.2. Or 18 divided by 9.8, excuse me.
I'm guessing
1.83 seconds. Okay? So you tell me, okay, at 1.83 seconds, okay, what is the velocity at 1.83 seconds? 0. That's when it reaches its maximum height, okay? What is the height of the ball after 2 seconds? What is the height of the ball? Oh, it says what is the maximum height? Did I actually determine the height? No. How do I figure out the height? I take this and plug it into where? The original function, which is right there. So I take 18 times 1.83 minus 4.9 times 1.83 squared. Can somebody give me an answer there?
16.53.
16.53 feet. That's the maximum height of the ball. It says, what is the height of the ball after 2 seconds? Can you tell me, will the height of the ball after 2 seconds be greater than 16 or less than 16? Be less than 16 because it reaches maximum height at the 1.83, right? So if I want to know the height of the ball after 2, do I plug it into the velocity function or the height function? Yeah, I want to know the height, so I plug 2 into the height function. So I say the height after 2 seconds is equal to 18 times 2 minus 4.9 times 2 squared. Somebody give me an answer there. 16.4. Oh, sorry, thank you. Mr. Eden has corrected us. We're not measuring in feet, we're measuring in meters. So I said greater or less than 16. I was kind of rounding. Obviously, you can see 16.53. We know it's going to be less than that. What is the velocity of the ball after 2 seconds? Talk to your partner. See if you can tell them something intelligent about the velocity after 2 seconds without actually calculating it. Talk. What do you know about the velocity after 2 seconds? Talk. 10 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Is the velocity going to be positive or is it going to be negative? Negative. Why? It's on its way down. So I plug 2 into the velocity function. So the velocity at time 2 is going to be 18 minus 9.8 times 2. See if I can do some arithmetic here. 9.8 times 2, I've got 19.6. So that would be negative 1.6 meters per second. Can somebody confirm that, negative 1.6?
You're right.
You are correct.
Excellent.
You're really smart, Mr. Gunn.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right. Letter D. At what time does the ball have a height of 20 meters? Why? Maximum 16. Exactly. So we're going to change the question here. Instead of at what time does the ball have a height of 20 meters, we are going to ask this question. What is the velocity when the ball first reaches a height of 10 meters? What is the velocity when the ball first reaches a height of 10 meters? How many times does the ball have a height of 10 meters? Twice. Once on the way up, once on the way down. On the way up, the velocity will be positive. On the way down, it will be negative. What is the maximum velocity of the ball? 18. Why? That's its initial velocity, and after that, it's only going to get slower, right? When you first release the ball, it's going to be at its greatest velocity, and then it's going to slow down. Finally get to 0 at the top, then it will turn to negative. So we want to know the velocity when the ball first reaches a height of 10. Well, I have a velocity function. The velocity function sits right here. So I'd like to plug something in for time, right? Do we know the time at which it reaches that height? So we have to figure out what time first it reaches this height of 10. So I would like to know when is the height equal to 10. So I'm going to set this up. When is 10 equal to 18t minus 4.9 t squared? Now obviously you're using your calculator in this situation. Can we make the problem nice and easy? You're trying to solve a quadratic. It's nice to just use the quadratic formula. 0 is equal to negative 10 plus 18t minus 4.9 t squared. And I think that most of you have hopefully put this into your calculator, but let's go to our graphing calculator and type this in, see what we get. Okay, if you hit program, oh no, is it gone? Mine's gone. Do you still have yours in there, the quadratic formula?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, do you have yours? You don't have yours? Do you have yours? Does somebody have the quadratic formula in the program?
I got it.
I do.
Okay, so I'm gonna grab Allie's right now, okay? And so I'll post that video online so you can get it into your calculator. As I press enter on the quadratic formula, it says A is, and what is A in this situation? Negative 4.9, I press enter. What is B? 18, and C is negative 10. And I get two results. I get 0.68 and 2.99. Which one do you want? Why do you want the 0.68? That's when it's on the way up, right? So time equals 0.68 and 2.99. 0.68 is when it's on its way up, and 2.99 is when it's on its way down. Have we answered the question? The question is, What is the velocity? So what do I do now? Yeah, so the velocity at 0.68 is equal to 18 minus 9.8 times 0.68. Can somebody on their calculator compute 18 minus 9.8 times 6.8? 11.31, and that would be meters per second. And we said that it should be less than 18, but it should also be greater than 0. And all this works together. So a classic problem, throwing a ball into the air, and you're mapping the motion.
Wait, why didn't you choose
2.99 is when it's on its way down. And so in order to check that, if you plug in 2.99, you should, in this case, get negative 11.31. It should work out that way. I want to connect your brain to something that I think is pretty cool in all of this. I want this to be recorded just so people can see it, so I'm just going to move to a space. You don't have to write this down. But right now in the college algebra class, we're talking about parabolas. We're talking about parabolas of the form like this. Y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. That's standard form, and notice how it makes that shape. What is that spot that we call on a parabola? It's called the vertex. Do you remember the formula using a and b that allow us to find the vertex? Negative b divided by 2a. Everybody okay with that? Okay. So, how about this? Wouldn't you say that's where the derivative of that is equal to 0? So let's set the derivative of this equal to 0. The derivative of ax squared is just going to be 2ax. We treat a as a constant, so we just drop the 2 in front. What's the derivative of bx? B. So we have plus b. What's the derivative of c? There's nothing. We solve for x, so we subtract b. Negative b is equal to 2ax. We solve for x by dividing by 2a. So you have negative b over 2a is equal to x. You have the formula for the vertex of a parabola. That's simple. Calculus can prove a lot of things that we've seen before, other than simply just the process of completing the square and the other things that we have done. Who here does not like money? Okay, everybody likes money. Good for you. If you were going to go into business and produce something, what would you produce? What item would you produce? Talk and share with a friend. What item would you produce if you're going to go into business? Go.
Produce or sell?
Produce and sell. Yeah, good. You'd like to sell it.
And sell?
Yeah, you want to produce it and sell it.
I just want to
I
buy
want
it
to
and
make
sell
it
it.
and spend it. You know what you want to make?
Dog toys.
Okay,
Indestructible. Except the indestructible ones aren't fun for dogs.
I know my dogs.
Like my dog just
Well,
is
do
my
we-
dog.
No, a dog toy
Like,
where you
the one
press
that
a
like is
button
indestructible
and
that
it
has something
goes
underneath
back.
it. Like, I don't even remember the one that I saw.
I had one that was a pickle, and then he ate it, and then there was a baby pickle inside, and then he ate that one, and then there was a squeaker inside.
That's so cute.
I know.
All right. I'm going to go to Rhea here on this one. Rhea, if you were to produce something and try to sell it, what would you produce? Aaron, what would you produce?
Bracelets.
Bracelets. Great. She's going to make bracelets, okay? Everybody agree that there's cost in making bracelets,
Yes.
right? It's important that you understand this development. I don't know if this is going to help you in your econ class, but this is one of the calculus interventions or applications into an econ class, okay? So suppose that Erin produces a bracelet. Do you think it's more efficient for her to produce 1 bracelet or 10 bracelets? 10. Everybody agree? It's more efficient to produce 10? Why is it more efficient to produce 10 than to produce 1?
More money.
You don't really get a better
Quality.
deal buying,
Things in gold.
Okay. Interesting how you're bringing that thought. I like where you're at. Do you think it takes her longer to produce 1 bracelet or to produce 10? Definitely takes longer to produce 10. Would we all agree?
Yeah.
Do you think it takes her longer to produce the first bracelet or the 10th bracelet?
First.
Because at your startup, that's where you are least efficient. Agreed?
Yeah.
So we want to say that as you produce more and more and more, hopefully you become more efficient. Now, there's going to come a point where you're not going to be as efficient, right? Like suppose that you're starting to work beyond 12 hours in a day. Would you agree that once you get to the 16th, 18th hour that you might start to see your efficiency drop off? Yeah, so there are constraints around us in terms of time that help us fall apart. And it's challenging. But if Erin is producing bracelets and she wants to do so in a good fashion, she wants to realize that, well, she wants to figure out how many to produce in order to be efficient. So suppose that Erin produces a bracelet and it costs her $10 to produce the first one. And the next one costs her $9 to produce. Well, now she's up to $19 for a total cost, right? And $8 for the next one. Well, now she's at $27, and $6 for the next one. So then she's at, or $7 for the next one, she's at $34. Then 6, then she's at $40, and then 5, she's at $45. So you can see she started off at 10. It costs more to produce 6 bracelets, but she's more efficient at that time. Everybody see that? So the cost function we call C of X. That is the cost of producing X number of items. So in this case, the cost of producing 6 would be 45. But what we refer to as the marginal cost function is what we call C prime of X, the derivative. And that is the estimated cost of producing the next item. So for example, if you were to find C prime of X right here, you would say, oh, well, the cost of producing the next item would be about $6. See that? Whereas the total cost would be, say, $34. That's the difference between the two. Everybody see that? Okay, so let's apply it to a situation here. Company produces X number of shoes. We're making shoes. Cost can be estimated by the following function. This is our cost function. So you can see there's a $10,000 startup right away. They have all sorts of costs in terms of setting up the building and the equipment and the workers and everything else. It's plus 5x plus 0.01x squared. Its first question is, what is the marginal cost function? What do we do to find the marginal cost function? We take the derivative. So therefore, C prime of X, stop doing that. C prime of X, the marginal cost function, is easy to find. And what is that?
5 plus 0.02.
Yep, 5 plus 0.02x. Super easy. Okay? Now it says, what is C prime of 500? So that means I just take 500 and plug it in. C prime of 500 is equal to 5 plus 0.02 times 500. So that's equal to 5 plus 500 times 0.02. I think that's 10.
Yep.
That's 10. And that gives me $15. It says interpret what C prime of 500 means. What does that mean?
Estimated cost for 500 items? Is that what it
Cost for 501 items.
estimated cost it takes to produce one item?
Excellent. We've got to talk about this because that's the piece. So I need you to see your way through this. Okay. Some people have it there. Some people don't as much. Let's go. I'm going to go to my calculator. Okay. And I'm going to type this in. And I'm going to go, come on, let's go. Yeah. Yeah. You've got it. Here we go. I already signed it. Didn't I already do this, everybody? Oh, it's over here, isn't it? Okay, got it. Okay, so I'm going to quit, and I'm going to type in the cost. And the cost is this. We start with 10,000 plus, what's the next part of it? 5x?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do 5 times 500. Okay, 5 times 500 plus 0.01 times 500 squared. Okay, That's the cost of producing 500 shoes. It's $15,000 to produce 500 shoes. Does everybody see that when I want to figure out the total cost, I plug it into there? So what does the 15 mean? Yeah, when you are producing the 500 first item, it should cost you about $15 to make that next item. See what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So when we interpret it, we say the approximate cost of producing the 500 first item is $15. And the reason why we say it's approximate is because you're jumping from 500 to 501. Like you can't produce a tenth of a shoe or a hundredth of a shoe. Excuse me. So when it says compare C prime of 500 with the cost of producing the 500 first item, the way we find out the cost of producing the 500 first item is easy. We take the cost of 501 items and we subtract the cost of producing 500 items. Now I'm going to help you make sense of this by looking at the little diagram that I put right up here. Oh, why do you do that? Okay, so look at right up here at my little chart I made, okay? See how this is 40 and this is 45? The total cost was 45, the total cost was 40. So what was the cost to produce that next item? $5. See, I found that total cost and that total cost, I subtract them. Everybody see that? So let's do it for this same piece and see how it compares to the $15. We already figured out the cost of the 500 items, didn't we? What was it? So I have $15,000 for that, but we haven't figured out the cost of 501 items yet. So I'm going to go back to my calculator, and in case you didn't know about this, just to save you guys some time, you can press second entry, and it brings up that same piece, and you can just go back and change the 500 to the 501, and that saves you a little bit of time. I know for me, I'm not happy with how this interacts with my touch screen. It just does not respond very well. So that saves me a little bit of time. So I get 15,015.01. So I get 15,015 point, was it 10 or 01? 01. So if you subtract those, everybody agree that you get $15.01. So this is not an exact cost, but it is a pretty close cost, isn't it? Yeah, so the marginal cost function, the derivative, can be a powerful thing when we're talking about economics. Now, the fact is, if you guys were sitting in your economics class right now, what percentage of the students in your class would understand the concept of a derivative? Okay. Are we offering macroeconomics this year?
No.
And even in macroeconomics at second semester, you still won't talk about the marginal cost function probably. Well, if you go to college and you take a business economics class, they have economics where the foundation is calculus and those where the foundation is not calculus. Which one should you be taking? The one that is calculus based, because you understand a derivative. It ain't that tough, is it? Okay, but for some people that's just mind blowing, okay? So take out your homework. Yeah, so what I'd like you to be able to do, and we kind of got to get caught up here, okay, because I know that you guys had some time off. But first of all, your motion worksheet, front and back there, right? Okay. The next one after that is just like what we talked about today, okay? Ball being launched into the air, okay? Velocity type problems. Those shouldn't take too long. You have the cost functions right after that. After that, we have our trig stuff, okay? Okay, we covered that, and then we had our special limits. So how about this? Tomorrow we will start off class, and I will take questions from your homework that you guys need help with to start on out. Okay? So do you, the trig worksheet and the two trig ones, if you have questions on those, my guess is that that's where it started. But before we get into anything tomorrow, I'll start class right away. We'll dedicate, 15 minutes? We say 15? Okay, 15 minutes, no more than 20, and then we gotta get into our next piece. Tomorrow's lesson is not challenging. It's super cool, but it is new. And it's something where we're going to do the basics tomorrow, and then it will build. It does get a little bit more difficult, but tomorrow's foundational, okay? And then we got to talk about when you want to test. Instead of having one big test, my guess is you guys would like to have two smaller tests. Is that correct? Okay. Then we're going to have to talk about that. So tomorrow, come to class with this. Number one, come to class with some questions on those first 4 worksheets that you have. We'll spend 15 minutes in class. We'll take time and go over some of those questions that you have, get you on track. On Friday, we don't have class. We lose another day again. But I also need you to come ready tomorrow to talk about your calendar and things that are coming up. Do we have anything on the horizon where people are going to be gone for significantly?
CNA is going to be gone in November a few times.
Okay, we should, well, we'll see where that is, okay? So maybe look at your CNA schedule, try to avoid that. But the musical is not happening yet. We have the yearbook thing, right? Like the yearbook field trip, whatever they did. Do we have some college visits where they're going to visit Riverland, or they're going to visit Mankato, or those field trips coming up? Do people know?
They should know if they signed up for them.
Okay. All right. So keep that in mind, okay? So kind of look at that. But should be ready to work, and we will talk more in a little bit. 1 and 2, yes. Yep, I will get that right now.
Post a video before next hour.
Yes. Yep. Before I leave today, I promise I will have all the answer keys posted. If I do not follow through with that, then you are allowed to steal treats from Hannah.
What did you say?
Okay.
Oh, I guess E was this diagram, and F was 34. Yeah, that was.
Okay. Got some calculus stuff here for you. If you are looking for some time to work on your calculus, I will be here today after school and tomorrow after school, but I won't be here Thursday after school. I'm not here Friday at all.
What is it?
Question?
Okay, well, my first question is, how do they produce it? Because I was like trying to, I was looking at
So the particle is at rest when it crosses the x-axis like that. So what we did is so we took our function and, let's see, is that your original? No, that's the derivative, right? Okay, so I'm going to take that off, okay? And I'm going to second calculate, and I'm going to find the zero number 2. So I look at this graph.
That's where I
Oh,
got.
I'm sorry, look at where the velocity function crosses. So I'm gonna take that off and we'll look for the velocity function. So we want to find where that crosses the x-axis, okay? So I'm going to second calculate, I'm going to find the number to the 0. I'm going to make sure I'm above the x-axis, and then I'm going to look for my y value change to negative. That way I know I'm below the x-axis. Okay, finally I'm below right.
Dogs, you dogs, I hate that picture. I like that.
35.541.
So then,
Oh,
I just didn't know how to work the calculator part on that, but now where do I go from here? How do I do D?
D?
Number 2.
So D, the question is when is the particle moving in a positive direction? So this looks like you have your, this is the original
It's like we
function.
have a problem in our notes.
That's the
Where we did this, we chose.
The velocity should be a second degree, so it should be a parabola.
That one was one positive and one negative. What is the particle at rest though?
Right, so this function right here goes through 1 and 5.
Oh, because it can't be
It
negative
goes through
time.
1 and 5, and it is a second degree. It's
Yeah,
going to
there.
look like that.
Okay.
You don't have to, but if you wanted to graph that, this would be a little bit more challenging. I would just type it in your calculator, see what that looks like. But hard to figure out exactly where that crosses. That's a lot more. But the velocity function, wherever it's above the x-axis, that's where it's traveling to the right. So from 0 to 1, and from 5 to infinity.
what you doing, Hades?
Yep. Yep. Yes.
No.
Got faces sheet?
Yeah.
So the key is whenever you have a limit, always try to plug the limit down. So sine of 0 is 0.
I saw that in third hour.
And so you have 0 to 0, that doesn't work. So you gotta do something else. In this case, you multiply the top and bottom by, should actually be 3.
And then there was another thing.
Because you can't change that to, you just change that
Oh,
to
danger.
3.
Is that it?
You can't change that because it's taking a sign.
Good. Very nice.
Now in this case,
Yeah, you definitely
you plug in
really
0,
hard.
at the top you get 0. But at the bottom you don't, do you?
Yeah, it's weird little math.
You have 0 to 6, which is 0.
You know, we have
change this to
really slow.
Sorry? Yep. Unless you want to have some fun and do more.
We can draw it on the large.
What?
Yes. But they did.
There's Paige. There's Maddie.
Yeah, Paige, she commented on the P.
Yeah.
Paige Elizabeth
What up?
Evans.
Where's Eddie today?
San Diego.
So actually.
Staff development or for fun?
You needed the date, the deadline, and then anything else?
If you have any idea what you want to study,
Okay.
but you don't have to.
Okay. Thank you.
You happy now, Mr. Gibbs?
Happy about what? Haircut. Had a boy.
What else?
Yeah. Cross. Oh, look at that. Wow. Wow.
Have I accused you, Mr.
Way to go, dude.
Or you posted the video.
Yep.
That's very kind. I'm gonna go watch it right away.
Axel. Old Florida night lab is coming back. Really? Got locked in. I swear I've heard that. You excited? Doug, I swear I've heard that. Finally, isn't that zero build? I hear zero build old map. It's gonna be just like the old days. I hear that every single year. They got a time machine and it clips the states. Bro, you gotta follow up in the alley. I'm sorry, man. I don't believe it. It's coming back. Every year. I told you. I told you. It's gotta be true. Okay. Hey, Nevaeh. Old Fortnite map's coming back. Lock in.
Hey, I think that since it's a new quarter, we gotta get this one.
Are you serious? You and I could switch so we don't pump elbows.
Yeah, that'd be too much.
But actually being able to write without being like, oh my bad, oh my bad.
Sorry.
This is the one I'm breaking out.
That's serious.
Oh yeah, almost as much as Campbell Cabin. Old Fortnite map, lock in.
That was fun.
I hear the whole heart beat to the beat of someone. I feel like we should be doing some more Just Cause.
Agreed.
I feel as if we should be doing more Just
I
Dance.
feel like you're right, right? Look at you all tech savvy.
She's posting on YouTube.
Oh, dang, content creator.
Monetized. Hashtag getting money out of this. Hopefully. Get your bag. Against calendar.
Well, he's got his own challenge. Get in! Oh, you stabbed me.
Yo, Callie.
What?
Old Fortnite map is coming back. Lock
Oh, it's
it.
296.
Old Fortnite map is coming back. Lock it.
Are you excited?
Is the Pope Catholic?
I really like the expression. He's doing it 7 times in the car. Hey, can we get a test back today?
Yeah. Yep.
Set myself up. The reading of the questions. Oh yeah, right. You were booking it, so we would be late.
You sure we're booking it? Wow.
Okay.
You just called her out of shape on so many levels.
Bird, roasted. Harder than you then.
Maybe you weren't. Maybe you weren't trying as hard.
Yeah. Okay, I didn't even stab you with the sharp end muffin.
Yeah, what are you stabbing with?
Nothing. I was holding it.
It's all red.
I was holding it like
Yeah, that one. Okay.
Old Fortnite map.
I was holding it like this. And it was like this or something. It hurt. Oh my god.
Yes.
Don't walk in front of me then. I want to go home.
Toast
I have to
salad.
go work till tomorrow.
I do not. I'm like, I have
Tomorrow.
more long day. Today.
Actually, not every day is important, but every day has a chance to be one of your days. Not every day is a good day, but it's good every day.
Yes, Brian. There it is. I just want to go home.
I forgot, actually. I haven't been on.
You did too much.
I did a little bit.
I did.
I did a little bit of social media collection. I haven't seen that all.
I kind of forgot. but-
40 forgot what you had today.
But you know what? I'll be participating tomorrow.
These are flags.
with my sweatpants.
Is that the thing?
But they don't look that big. But they are so
Oh, we gonna test that today?
Oh, yeah.
What? What is this? Oh, that is ice cream.
When you work in an ice cream shop?
I don't know.
You don't like it.
Okay, welcome back.
Why do you know
Did you have a good 5 days off?
I'm getting done.
Because my mom says.
Football game, was that fun?
It was not.
Oh. Did anybody go to the football game on Wednesday night and see the victory?
Yes.
Yes, I
My
did.
mom was sad.
Okay,
I was
good for you.
sad. I told my mom
led the student section and it was great.
We did a kick
We had
line.
like a great little.
You want to see a video of it?
Yeah.
Oh.
Wait, did you send me the video? Where's the video of our kick line?
That was me.
You have all of it. Here it is. There's sound, but I'm not gonna play it.
Oh, wow. That's some talent right there.
Yeah.
You got Emery?
Yep.
Who's the one on the end here?
Jocelyn.
I don't know Jocelyn.
I don't know Sarah last name.
Oh,
And then that's me and my sister.
how old is your sister?
She's my age.
Have I met her?
I'm trying to break this.
I need to meet this girl. What's her name?
Sienna.
Sienna.
You probably
What do
met
you
her
know
in-
about Sienna?
You probably met her in LinkedIn maybe like a year ago.
I don't remember all the 285 kids I meet.
Yeah, it's like
Nope. I remember seeing him play basketball last year.
longer plays.
2 years ago.
2 years. Do you know my brother?
No. Yes, I think I can't really remember, but
Ethan, he's like taller than her.
Do you remember my brother?
Yeah.
He's
you don't have a brother.
I know.
Do you?
Huh?
You don't have a brother.
I do have a brother, but he is in 6th grade.
Okay, all right.
Distinguishing characteristics.
I wanted to see if it's like by a lot.
All right, here we go. Here is your test breakdown. Suppose that we had 60 people take the test. About 15 score between 100 and 94. About 15 score between 94 and 89. About 15 score between 89 and 83. And about 15 score below 83. Yeah, I mean, test scores are pretty good. It was a nice way to end second quarter, or first quarter. There's a couple things that I need to, just kind of look at with you about the test. But some people have asked about the next test. You get one retest a semester. So, nobody's used that retest yet. I would say that there's only about 10 people that actually use a retest during the course of a semester. Doesn't mean there's only 10 that should. It's just, there's only 10 people that take the time to do it. It's sometimes tough to kind of get back and review everything. Yes?
Can you let's say it's like the end of the semester and you decide you want to retake a test from like 3 units ago, can you?
Yeah, so you can just do.
So you can
You can
pick.
just choose which one was the worst.
Yep, and I will go back and I will change that grade. It doesn't change what the grade was when the report card came home in the mail.
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
that moment, I can't change that moment in time.
Right.
So like some kids are like right now, so I got a couple kids that are in different classes that are trying to pass a class or trying to make stuff up. I can't change the fact that, right now the report card's gonna come home with an incomplete. But I can then change the grade.
When are grades due for first quarter?
I don't know.
I think it's Wednesday. That's what Haney was
I
sounding
think
like.
I was supposed to have them done by tomorrow, and then all of a sudden I think that it's like next Wednesday now that I have time for. So I just got an email on that. I think I got a little bit more time. I'm almost done the way it is, but your Riverwind grades, again, that is an average of your third quarter, fourth quarter grade. So, do you think that your second quarter grade will be higher or lower than your first quarter grade?
Lower.
It will most likely be lower. So just to give you an idea of generally where things go, this would be my prediction based off of how you guys did. I just doubled the distance from 100, so the distance is, say, 6 percentage points. So I would say that would be then about an 88 would be that top quartile, and then say a 78, so half the class, and then half class below 78. That would be my kind of prediction. And that would be better than last year. Last year, I think that this number right here is 53. So it means over 25% of people got an F. So I'm not, I've been doing this for just way too long. I've seen years where the test scores are better than this. I've seen years where they're worse than this. Has a lot less to do with me, and the content has a lot more to do with just your time over the course of next month. So what's going to be different is that the content will be mostly new. So you're going to have to dig in a little bit. Okay, because a lot of this stuff was still kind of review. A lot of it was. A lot of this is going to be new. Also, you guys your lives get busy. You've got, Thanksgiving plans coming up. You guys have the musical. You guys have sports that are changing. All sorts of stuff kind of going on. So you kind of got to organize your lives. So anyway, good job. I'll hand it back. If you could exit stage left, that'd be great. Remember, you're never as good as your best test. You're never as bad as your worst. You're somewhere in between. Learn to live in the middle.
Yeah, I suppose I could do it.
In no particular order.
Someone's got to take this away. Take this away from me.
No shot.
Go.
What?
Go.
Oh wait.
Maybe.
What's up?
Hannah, so loud.
I don't
That might
know.
have been fun.
Don't
Look how big this was. I wasn't
sorry.
expecting
Mine
it.
look like that too.
Did you get the bonus?
Liliana,
I can't tell.
Like that's in front. Is this?
That's not bad.
Lily, did you?
Wait, how do you know if you get a bonus? Does this say?
How you called the one girl? Yeah, I could have sworn it was. I could have sworn it was Kaylee. Oh wait, Kaylee.
Well, let's just say this. I'm in the top 40.
There's only one person who got the extra credit. I think Claire got the extra credit.
Really?
Yep.
Claire.
Good job,
Claire got it. We go,
Was I
Claire.
on the right track?
Yeah, definitely.
Made some errors.
Yeah.
No.
What was the right answer for that?
It's up on the corner up there. Negative a squared minus 3 or minus 5 over that. That's the correct answer for the extra credit.
Oh, good job.
I don't remember. Actually, did I?
Yeah.
I can't read this now. What did you miss?
So yeah, it's kind of one of those misleading things about like extra credit. Like usually extra credit is achievable by most people, but usually it's only one person in the class that ever gets it.
Okay, I got it.
What?
But I got it. But I always Yeah, that's so, isn't that so nice? But there were little things, I put all the numbers there. This was fine. That was not very close. I did that wrong. What did you put in the last name was a little. The right answer. He didn't. Oh, it's that. Oh.
I wasn't even close.
I'm so bad.
I knew I got it wrong. I wasn't even close. I don't even know how I got it. Mine was.
So what's like?
Okay, if I could have your attention just real quick here. Not a lot I want to talk about. If you'd like to talk in person, we sure can. Section 5 that talked about domain. That overall went pretty well. I can tell some people are still confused. Domain is going to come up on the next test. So if you are confused, you're going to want to sit down and look at that with me, okay? Last of all, section 9, A, B, C, and D, okay? This was kind of the disappointing piece for me because I felt like we had just too many mistakes on this. The most important thing you can learn from this past unit is if it's on the outside, it impacts vertically. If it's on the inside, it impacts horizontally. So is that the inside or outside? Outside. So it should change the Y values. Inside or outside? So it changes the X values. Here, multiply the Y values by 3. Here, X minus 1. Do you subtract 1 from X or do you add 1? You add 1 because it's right 1. So it's opposite what you think in that situation. So that one kind of creates some issues for people. So that's all I have. The extra credit, again, if you get it right, I put a +1 there. That's the only way you know if you get it. Maybe I made a comment if I felt like you were close. Love the number of people who tried it. Way to go. But our confidence this time rests in Clara. Way to go, Clara. So I'll take these back from you. I'll enter them in the grade book.
No.
Are you confident, Clara?
I'm so confident it's there.
We both had a 2A.
I knew it had to have been over.
Is that
Yeah, I didn't know.
I'm sure this means.
the -1?
Just simplifying.
Brian.
How did I do against 6 long?
Well, you think I'd write 2 in there?
Still in the
You don't understand.
Still good, yeah.
And I took it right on.
You silly man. You silly man, Ethan. Okay.
I'm gonna go to Hawaii.
Take out your notes.
Is it right in my eyes? Is that's from an eye, little thing in my eye.
No, you guys.
She lost her phone.
She's a sustainable
They should make t-shirts that say, I lost my phone at Cannibal
It dropped
Cabin.
out of her pocket.
I survived. My phone
barely did. I
So she was
barely
like-
survived.
They were touching you would like shrink down, you had to like duck down. So like it just fell out. Well, I don't know. I don't think she remembers.
I don't remember.
She was just like traumatized.
I lost my stuff.
It was like their.
I lost many things. I can't.
Brian lost his dignity.
Right?
Brian was one of the
No, Cannibal Cabin, I was fine. It was the con one, the first one.
No, you were not young man the first time. It was the second one.
No, but that was.
The common one was when he was like,
Oh
The
yeah.
con one was when I was like.
he was
I
like,
had one on the Cali and I was like.
He's like, oh.
Because they were stepping on my feet from behind, and then the guy I looked back and go. I was like. Dude,
Okay, so I just referenced something that I did. This was a couple of years ago. I did a grade reflection sheet with the students that were juniors and seniors. And I realized that I really don't need to do it for you guys. We don't need to take like 15 minutes, but I just want to take 2 minutes to just reference a couple things I think makes kind of your classes a little bit unique. Number one, raise your hand if you're a senior. Congratulations, seniors, in you taking this course. I don't know if you're aware, but seniors, you are the lowest populated students we've ever had in the advanced classes at Albert Lee High School. Okay? So you guys are doing something that is different than many of your peers, and that you are taking some upper level courses like this. So we used to have, say, chemistry and chem comm. We used to have, say, 4 sections of chemistry and 2 of chem comm. Last year when you guys were in there, we had 1 chemistry and 5 chem comm to start the year. That was abnormal, okay? I've had years where I've had 47 kids take AP Calculus. This year I have 15, okay? And so you guys, as you were populating this class as well, good for you for stepping up and taking the tougher classes. You guys have learned excellent study skills. So what are some of the study skills that you guys should think about as you're headed forward? I just want to warn you, on this next test, somebody will be bitten, okay? So somebody is going to take a significant drop. Somebody's going to have tears after this next test. Somebody is going to have the best test of their semester thus far. So how can you avoid that? I can tell you all you want. At the end of the day, I get it. You do you. But what kind of bites people? Number one, people put their homework off till the night before it's due. You should do your homework within 2 days of when it's assigned. The brain does not remember as well when you cram the night before the test. And by the way, just because you perform well in the test doesn't mean you're going to perform with a crap when you get to the ACT. You understand that sleep at night is what allows your brain to take that knowledge and transfer it into long-term retrieval memory. Like that's the process. So if you don't work on it and then sleep on it and then review it, it's not built for long-term recall at all. Determine a consistent time where you devote to math. When's your time to do math? When is your time? We got study hall over here. That's the street. And I believe you guys. I heard that from somebody first hour, and I saw them in their second hour study hall. They got about 20 things to do, and they were just sitting on their phone chatting. So you guys do a good job making use of your study time. Some people are horrible at making use of your study time, and I hate excuses. Be prepared to ask questions. Do you ask questions? Some people are like, I don't feel comfortable asking questions. That's totally fine. Just make sure that you know that you're going to close the door on mathematics someday. Okay? If you can't get past the point of asking questions, there will come a time where your math career stops. It will stop on you. So make sure that you ask those questions. I know, who was it? It was Sydney's sister, Zoe? Zoe said she was scared of me for the first year and a half that she knew me. Most people aren't too terrified of me, but I think I'm okay to ask that question. Huh? Yeah? Okay. All right, thank you. Check your answers. Use your time wisely. Stay off your phone. Yada, yada, yada. Here's the one that I have that is interesting for you guys. Right now, we start school each day at what time? 8:30. I'm an advocate that needs to change. I'm an advocate that needs to change like 7:45 or 8 o'clock. Why? Because we just don't have enough time in the day. My guess is you guys like the 8:30 thing, don't you? It used to be 8 o'clock. It used to be 8 o'clock. Right? Then it went to 8:30. And I thought it was beautiful when it moved to 8 to 8:30. I was like, well, there's a half an hour where students, if they need help, they could come on in, right? But I learned during COVID that was not going to happen. During COVID, we had an hour and a half in the mornings for kids to come in and help. We didn't start each day till 9:30. And from 8 to 9:30, my door was open, but there was nobody to be found. So I just want you to know that this 8:30 time, honestly, if you need help, your goal time should be here by 8 o'clock and don't have my room be empty. Come and see me and we can get some stuff done together. Otherwise, after school could work. If you're too busy, I totally get it. And that just might impact your grade for the negative. Also, retake your test. If you need to retake your test, retake it. I'd love to sit down with you. Here's what I do not appreciate. You're like, I'd like to do a retake. and you just go ahead and you just you retake it without any work. So then I sit down, I go to grade it, and I grade a crappy test where you're getting a 42%. You know what I mean? And I just halfway through, I'm like, forget this. Like, it's just stupid. I don't know, waste my time grading the rest of the test. I take the better of the two. But please make sure that you devote a little bit of time to that. I'd love to help you in that process. Okay. So let's start the new. You ready for the new? Mm-hmm. It is not challenging. It is just new. And here we start here. What shapes did we graph before you guys left for break? Start with the P. Parabolas. And you graph them in standard form. And when we say standard form, we're referring to this. Okay? Standard form. Standard form is y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. And then we have what we call vertex form. You guys were excellent at standard form. Some people got their assignment done on standard form. Some haven't looked at it yet. Wherever you're at, you made that choice. I get it. If you need help, come and see me. I'll help you out. Vertex form looks like this. Y is equal to a times x minus h quantity squared plus k. They're two very different forms. One has a completed square and one does not have a completed square. Have you learned how to complete the square in class before?
Yeah.
Yes, and you're going to learn it again today, and you need to follow the way in which I do it. It's different than the way you've been taught before, and there's going to be just some nuances you have to keep track of, okay? Do you remember the formula we used in standard form to find the vertex? Negative b over 2a. Negative b divided by 2a was the formula you used to find the vertex of a parabola, okay? Now, I'm going to have a section on the test. I have to be absolutely clear about this. Every year somebody does this. I will have problems where you use standard form and you do the negative b divided by 2a. But then I will also have problems where you do vertex form. If you choose to do the standard form when you're supposed to do the vertex form because you don't know how to do it, I take 3 out of 4 points off. Okay? You have to be able to do this. Now, you might say, why? I can do it my way. I still get the right answer. Yeah, and you won't know how to do second semester then. Because second semester, it doesn't work like that anymore. You have to know how to do this. Otherwise, you're really going to bomb that test. So you have to learn this skill. So let's look at the easy problem. We want to take this and we want to place it into vertex form. So I have f of x is equal to x squared minus 6x. And I'm going to put the plus 1 over on the side. Okay? And in fact, I'm going to group these together like that. Now, the whole time I'm going to pause and check and say, does that expression have the same value as that expression? I haven't changed anything, have I? I've just simply moved some parentheses around. That's it. So what number do you add to complete the square? How'd you get that? 6 divided by 2 is 3. Squared is 9. Great. And we pause because this is the part that's new. So great, you figured out how to complete the square, but what else do we do? If we added 9 to one side, then we add 9 to the other side. Now, when we did that before, on the other side, there was a number, right? There was like a number over here. There ain't no number, folks. So you can write plus 9 to f of x, but there's nowhere to add that 9, is there? Well, if you added that 9, wouldn't it be the same as subtracting 9 from that side? Watch one more time. This has to make sense. And if it doesn't, we're not going to get through it. Okay, watch me again. Add 9 to this side means I add 9 to this side. Or instead of adding 9 to that side, I could just subtract 9 from the same side. Because what is positive 9 and negative 9 make?
0.
So see how this creates a net change of 0? Okay, just like if you have the number 5, if I add 3 and I subtract 3, does everybody agree that still makes 5?
Yeah.
So adding and subtracting from the same side is a good option. You're always, yes?
Why wouldn't you then have to minus 9 on the other side?
So I want to create a balance here, okay? I want to create a balance. So when we add 9 to one side, oops, tipped, right? So then we're like, add 9 to the other side, then we're balanced. So add 9 to one, add 9 to the other, we're balanced. What I'm saying is now, we're going to add 9 to this side, and we're going to take 9 off of the same side.
Okay.
See?
Yeah,
Add 9 on, and take 9 off. Just the difference is that we're not used to doing negative weight, right? It's like if Mr. Gent sits on one side of the teeter-totter, how do we do the negative of me? You know, you're like, what does that look like? You know, but so positive 9, negative 9 goes away. Okay, there we have it. So let's go ahead and now see what we got. Okay, this should work out quite nice. F of x is equal to what?
X minus 3 squared.
Y squared minus 8. Completed square
Oh, yeah.
minus 8. The vertex is easy to see. It is the horizontal shift and the vertical shift. What's the horizontal shift?
3.
3. What's the vertical shift? Down 8. That's my vertex. No need to do negative b divided by 2a. You completed the square, you got the vertex. All I'm going to ask you to do with that is to sketch a quick graph. So I'm going to go over 2, 4, 6, 8. 2, 4, 6, 8. I'm going to plot positive 3 and negative 8. Draw my shape. Does that have a maximum or a minimum?
Maximum.
It has a minimum value because it goes up. What the minimum value we refer to as the y value. A minimum value of negative 8. That's all I want you to do for that kind of problem. We're okay? All right, we got 2 more to do. This first one is nice and easy. It's just add 9 and subtract 9. Okay? Flip it over. What's different about this one? Oh, by the way, this sheet that I have in the middle there, that summarizes some of the things about vertex and standard form if you feel like you need to check that out. Yes, Nevaeh?
How do you know what the x-intercepts are?
For this?
For vertex. Do you have to? Or
No. So for vertex form, all I'm going to ask you to do is to place it in the form and identify the vertex and know the maximum or minimum. That's it. I will not ask for the x or y intercepts.
So is standard when it's like equal to y and then the vertex is when it's equal to an f of x?
So f of x and y, we say are interchangeable, okay? Those are the same things. What makes vertex different than standard, this is vertex form because it has a completed square, meaning we could just look at it and see the vertex. Whereas this is standard form, and you can't see the vertex. You have to do negative b divided by 2a. That's the difference between those two. Vertex form, you can look at it and say, I know the vertex. Standard form, got to do negative b divided by 2a.
how do you know which one to use?
So this one is in standard form, and I said place it into vertex form.
Okay.
So on your test, I will tell you this is in standard form. Go ahead and find the vertex and the x and y intercepts and all that stuff. And then I'll give you another problem. I say it's in standard form. Please place it into vertex form. I will tell you to do both those things. We flip it over. What's different about letter B?
No C.
Yeah, there's no constant value on the end. And we have a negative in front of that x squared, don't we? And that causes a little bit of a problem. I'm going to factor out that negative. So I have a negative x squared, and it's a minus 4x. Because if I complete the square, I want a perfect square up front. I want x squared. I don't want 2x squared. I don't want negative 5x squared. I just want x squared. So what number do you add to complete the square? 4. Now, what we just talked about is if you add 4 to one side, then what can you do to that same side? Subtract 4. But pause. Look at what you have. What is the true value of that 4? Is that a positive 4 or is it a negative 4? It's a negative 4 due to this. So we didn't actually just add 4. We just subtracted 4. So if we want a net change of 0, what are we going to have to do? Add 4. Okay? And if you're not convinced, the way you convince yourself is this. If you just simplify this expression, you should come up right back with that if you've done everything right. Notice I get a negative x squared, I get a positive 4x, I get a minus 4, and a plus 4. Those cancel, and I get this, which is the same thing as there, isn't it? Okay, that's how I do my check. So I know that I've been safe in the algebra that I've done. So there we go. We've got f of x is equal to, I've got a negative, parentheses, what? Good. X minus 2 quantity squared plus 4. So Callie's question, perfect. It started out in standard form. We placed it into vertex form. Now I can just look at it. I know the vertex. The vertex is what? 2, 4. And it will have a maximum or a minimum. A maximum because it is upside down. So I'm going to go over 2 and I'll go up 4. Again, it's just a really quick sketch. It's a general idea of the shape. I won't ask you to find the x and y intercepts in this type of scenario, only within standard form. The maximum value is positive 4. Okay? All right. Last example for the day. You guys can have a little bit of time to work. We've got 2x squared minus 3x minus 1. Everybody agree it looks a little complicated with that 2 out front? Okay? And we know that one thing that we can all use a little bit of work with is some fractions from time to time, right? So here's going to be that scenario. I have f of x is equal to 2 parentheses x squared minus, if you factor a 2 out of 3, you're going to have a 3 halves. And I want space here, so I'm not going to factor the 2 out of negative 1. I'm just going to put the minus 1 on the side there. That tends to bother a lot of people, to not take a 2 out of the negative 1. 2 reasons. Number 1, I don't want to because I need space there. Second of all, you have always done that. If you had x cubed plus 3x squared plus, say, 4x plus 12, you have grouped those together and taken out an x squared, but that doesn't mean that you take that x squared out of these two, does it? I mean, you've kind of grouped pieces before together, so I just grouped those couple, okay? So I don't have to do all of them. I can just do part of them. We've done that before. So what number do you add to complete the square? Parent, share, or the friends, see if you can come up with that number in the next 30 seconds. Okay, think about it, talk. Okay, what you got? Anybody confident? 4, excellent guess. Unfortunately incorrect. 9, excellent choice. Unfortunately incorrect. 9/16, correct.
Yes.
For Bree, 1, 2, 3. Bree, what'd you do?
Well, you have to divide 3 halves by 2, which means multiplying by 1 over 2.
Dividing by 2 means multiplied by 1/2, so you get 3/4. And so what do we do then with that 3/4? We
square it.
Square it, and you get 9/16. Okay? Okay, so if we added 9/16, then generally what we would think to do is also subtract 9/16, correct? But that doesn't have a true value of 9 over 16. What's the true value of that?
You have to multiply by 2, so 18/16.
Very good. This has a true value of 18/16. 18/16, which is the same thing as 9/8. So what I just did is I added 9/8 to one side, so I therefore need to subtract 9/8 from the same side. And there we have it. So now I have f of x is equal to, we have our 2 times, what do we get there?
3/4.
Yep, good. X minus 3/4. Quantity squared. We have a negative 1 minus 9/8. That negative 1 is the same thing as negative 8/8. So negative 8/8 minus 9/8 is negative 17/8. So good job. We worked through the fractions. We know fractions are tough. They're tough for everybody. Our vertex is going to be positive 3/4 and negative 17/8. And then we'll see if we get a maximum or minimum. Will we get a max or min in this situation? A minimum because it goes up. I'm going to plot this. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay. So 3/4 is a little bit less than 1. Negative 17 over 8, that's a little bit less than negative 2, right? So if I just go over 3/4 and a little bit lower than negative 2, that's about my location. And I can go up from there because it's positive. Okay. And then we have a minimum value of negative 17 over 8. That's that. Okay, so I have your homework ready to go. Take out your parabola worksheet from what you had before so that you can staple it to this if you so choose. I'm going to start the stapler back here. Okay, careful with the stapler. I once upon a time in high school stapled somebody's thumbs together. Yeah.
Story behind that one.
Yeah.
Yes, can I go to the bathroom?
You sure can.
I made a
You all pass?
Yep,
You're good
my
to go.
phone's on the desk.
Excellent. What a good student.
I've stayed with myself.
I got it right here.
Oh, I thought you passed out, weren't you?
Hey, I'm going to let you. Thank you. Love the gold earrings today.
I'm gonna take this.
Geez, thanks. See how it goes.
So it's like this.
Everybody got one?
No, not yet.
Okay. We'll wait for Callie. Callie, are we dressing up for Halloween?
No, I don't know yet. Yeah.
Callie, this was planned.
We're at church camp.
Oh, cool. Sounds
So
fun.
me and Ava are dressing up together because the volunteers are doing Toy Story.
Nice.
We're Slinky the dog together.
Okay. What are you dressed up as?
We're Slinky the dog. from Toy
Stinky the
Story.
dog?
Slinky from Toy Story.
Oh, okay.
He's like,
I was like, what's Stinky?
so who's gonna be the rump?
Yeah, I will. It's fun, and then you get like the little what's it called?
They already have one. Texas has it.
Good. So if I could just help you guys with the very first problem here real quick. It just says x squared plus 2x. Some people look at it and they're like, holy cow, this is a lot of stuff. It's like 3 pages in length. There's like a lot of space to work. So it's really not that bad. So like the first one, this shouldn't take you very long. Y equals x squared plus 2x. Okay, what do you add to complete the square?
One.
1.
Yeah.
And if you add 1, you should also subtract 1. So we got y is equal to x plus 1, quantity squared, minus 1. So you can see that the vertex is -1, -1. And that problem took us a whole 25 seconds. Okay, so some of them shouldn't really take you that long. There's just space there to work as you have a process to complete. So as far as the rest of the week is concerned, it's an interesting week because on Thursday or on Friday, you guys do not have this class, do you? You have college and career fair. And since all my afternoon classes are going to be taken away from me, my daughter, she needs an MRI on her leg. She's in some rough shape right now, so we're going to go to the doctor. So I decided to take Friday off to go do that. So I will not be here on Friday at all. Doesn't matter, you guys don't have class anyway, do you? So third hour gets a work day on Friday. Okay, third hour gets a work day on Friday in class. Okay.
Some of us will be gone Thursday. I think us three.
Is it a party or what?
Yeah. We could talk
All
about it.
right.
We have a full day CNA.
Oh, CNA coming up. All right.
Yep.
Does that include like Hattie Adams?
Yes, and Aaron Ford.
It'll be like the next 4 Thursdays. We
Just a
will.
problem.
Yeah.
Next 4 Thursdays. Okay, because I asked it today because we got to plan when their next test is going to be. I said kind of didn't know when people have stuff. So he said Thursdays.
Yeah, the next 4.
Is it just in the afternoon? Is it all day?
Well,
It's like from 8
Yeah. Okay, sounds good.
plus the stapler.
Yeah, you're telling us we gotta be, we got the stapler.
Yes, I got it.
No, we go to
Yo.
Austin for one day.
Oh, one?
This coming Thursday?
Good. So we're taking that.
Divide by two.
Yes, you take this number. Divide by two.
What is all this?
This
Oh,
number.
divided by, sorry, yeah.
So 1 divided by half.
And it's my baby.
Oh, I forgot a page.
Better?
What was your And then it'd be minus 1/2.
Minus, I think,
Because if we divided this by two, it'd be like 1/2.
yes, yep, minus
Need
1.
it back.
Minus 2. Good,
And then you do that. Negative 5.
good, yep,
What?
excellent. Yep.
I took out all the staples.
My goal is to get, okay, so standard form is right here. I'll get this answer key posted, and I will try to get answers online by tomorrow.
Mr. Gans, do we not have to put a minimum or maximum on this one?
Or would you like this? Is that what direction you like us to write that in direction?
Nope, don't worry about it. You're fine.
We.
So how many go?
The whole 2.6. I thought you just asked me what I was yapping about.
Yes, I took out all the staples and when I put all the staples. And then I put all of those pages after the first one. Are you done?
Okay, guys, this answer key is just a little bit, it's just an older version, so should be able to figure out your stuff in there pretty easily.
Mr. Gans, when you have like a C value, you just move that to the outside, correct?
Good, yes.
Okay.
Here.
No, it's.
I'm gonna teach you how to use a skateboard.
I don't think I put it on.
Ready?
Don't.
Put it in there. Ready? Just make sure it's where you want it. You got it? Then you just go like this. It's meant to be hit. Yeah.
Mr. Gans, do you like Lily's hair?
I love Lily's hair. It's phenomenal.
Say that.
She got it done.
Yeah, a little darker, right?
Now everyone's gonna look at
Looks
me.
great. Lily, we love your hair. Do you like my hair?
Yeah.
They said what hair?
That's not a medical.
See, like when I put my hand on my head, like I could feel like hair here, but like you don't see it.
I can see it.
You get
I
that
see it.
tan line in the
I see
summer?
it.
Oh, I have to wear, I have to wear a hat all summer. Like
And then they take it off with the head all white.
Do you
and
wanna
your
know a
face is
fun
tan.
fact?
Probably. What? What's a funny fact?
So once upon a time, me and Julie were in basketball, right?
Yes.
Our
You
coach
guys look
had
like excellent basketball players.
our coach had the same hairstyle as you, but it was a little bit longer. And as an award, we got to shave his head
Oh,
As a reward.
cool, cool.
for winning.
Alright.
So I got to take a turn with the.
I thought it
razor.
was gonna shave off his moles. I was scared.
Who was it?
Wow.
Tom Jones.
Mr. Jones.
That was a reward. for
Yeah, in the
That's
Tom Jones gym.
That's Mr. Albert Lee right there.
That's crazy.
Yeah, if there was a Mr. Overly, he
Same.
would win it.
Tom Jones.
All the time. Did you see Tom Jones? Oh,
Anybody else need a skateboard?
Yeah.
I do.
Mr. Tom
Yes.
Jones.
Did you see his throwback picture of like his,
Him?
and his like that one shirt? Everybody like you should wear that to the.
I need to know.
And your mom was counting.
Skateboard?
He comments on like,
Oh, wait.
he literally comments on like,
Mr. Gans, I need help.
For this? Yep, right here.
all of my.
It looks a little bit different, but you should be able to find the answers on there.
So,
I'm not gonna easy, right?
I did the +1 here. No?
So there's a 1 in front of this. We divide it by 2 to get.
Where do you want it?
OTG.
Oh, I divided it by just 1.
Every square to get 1.
Where do you want it?
Okay, so
Wait,
then
let me see. I want to try some experience. No,
I don't know if it's wrong, it's wrong.
It's crop. Well, goose gum, boys.
Wait, Cal, isn't it what?
Hey, come here. Nice.
Emperor's New Groove.
I've
You
never
see
seen
it.
it.
He turns into a llama.
Yeah.
He's
A
the best.
llama.
And we also. He's like.
Pull the lever. Emperor's New Groove. What's
It's a
that?
movie, it's a Disney movie. This will factor too.
And then
Do you know that? Remember when that TikTok sounded
And this
Pull
will
the-
make it
pull,
one
like, pull the
last
lever.
quarter, maybe
I've never heard that. Yes, you've heard that.
five. You definitely seen it. A little bit better?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah. It's from the
supposed to be him.
movie.
Like, he doesn't say that.
Oh.
He goes, whoa. Boys. And it sounds just like that. So then everyone made it like a meme. So yeah, that's where that comes from.
Go watch it. Come get your.
God is good. God is
Good job, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your 5 days off. You've got a lot of work to do over the course of the next 8 weeks.
And I just, we're gonna be this time. It's gonna be the best 8 weeks of our lives. Yeah.
That's what I was doing.
No, they're not. They're gonna be wonderful.
But I'll take mine.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, see.
I feel like today there's something not normal in here today.
Go home. Don't suffer. What are you doing chemistry? What?
Especially at pajama day, I would think you would wear today.
If I'm not mistaken.
Sorry, Connor. Georgia. Hey, I heard that Maisie's the tip man. How exciting is that? What are you? What? I thought I heard her say nothing. That can't be the case. Is this pajama day? Okay. Record kind of looks more the part. Adrian found it. Max has it. Sophie's got it. Wow.
Where's Ben?
Every day? Oh yeah, we got that one. I hate that he makes him. Just because of that.
Yes, so much.
Hi, Grant. Howdy.
Grant. It's been so long. Oh, that was close. That was close.
Oh, the kid was so long.
Grant, you're so fun.
It's not
So fun.
so
hard, Grant.
Whatever. No one did.
You know Grant? Okay. Hey girl, what's going on? Hey Ben! How was the bathroom? Ben, it's been so long. It has been a while. It's been some time. Almost a week. I've missed you. 6 days. I missed you. What? Did you do your homework? I didn't do my homework. I didn't do my homework. It's summer. I know, you did.
Yeah.
Why so cold? It's 71 outside. We get a test back. We do? Yeah, I'm right there.
Look at that.
Wowzers.
Super cool.
Lily Christinger.
She's in my second hour, Haney.
I bet she's carring on the whole time, isn't she?
I don't know about that.
Silly Lily. That's what I got. So how about those Vikings, huh?
Oh my god.
The goats,
It was
bro.
perfect.
Was that awesome? And how about the Gophers and the stupid Iowa Hawkeyes? That was awesome too. Good times, good times, good times. Lots of joy. Lots of joy.
We didn't have school this weekend because of the Vikings.
Yeah.
Like we didn't have school.
The Vikings are playing, so they can't leave school.
So we didn't have school.
That should be a thing. No school in the Vikings play.
Yeah. I think they should give the day after the Super Bowl off.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It should be a national holiday.
yeah, I agree. I bet Viv watches the Super Bowl every year. What? No way. Wow. Okay. Can't believe that.
I'll be the Tiger football.
I'll be the Tigers in the Super
Yeah.
Bowl.
Was anybody here watching the football game on a Wednesday night? You were there?
Whoa, what? Wednesday night? No.
The Tigers?
I saw it on YouTube. I was watching.
Okay, watching the live stream on YouTube.
Yep.
I thought that was pretty cool.
It took me like 20 minutes then to figure out who was who because the commentator was like, "Tigers are up,"
Yeah.
but they were both the Tigers.
Yeah,
So it was like-
exactly.
I was like, "Who?"
Yeah. It just, every team deserves to win a game every once in a while. And so it's been 4 years for them, so good for them. Happy for them. So yeah. Yeah, I think they went 2 years without scoring a point.
Really?
Yeah, I think it was about 2 years where they didn't even score a point. So,
Wow.
yeah. And so you gotta understand, like I've been around here now for 16 years. I think I've worked with 75 different head coaches. Like if you look at all the sports we've had, I think we've had 75 different head coaches. So Coach Dunn's like the sixth football guy I've had come through.
Really?
Yeah, what's interesting is I don't know how many times before they just berated the football coaches. Well, Coach Dunn won a state football championship and a state volleyball championship at his previous school. He was a coach of the year, he was teacher of the year. So it's not like he comes in and all of a sudden is able to just create a 7-1 team, right? Like there's a little bit more to it. So anyway, I'm happy for them that they won. Okay, there you go. There's a breakdown right here. Out of 56 points, top score is 56. We had one person get the extra credit. That was Claire Thompson. About 15 people scored between 194. About 15 people between 94 and 89. About 15 people between 89 and 83. And about 15 people below that. You kind of wonder, like, what's this that I have next to it? These are my predictions based off of how you did here. These are my predictions for the next test. So I think instead of like half the class getting 89 or higher, I think it's like half the class goes 78 or higher. I'm not always right. Like I was right about the football team. I said they were going to win, and they did. I said the Gophers were going to win. So anyway, who knows? I don't know. Maybe I'm not right. Okay. But last year this number wasn't 65. Last year this number was 55. So a quarter of the students got an F or lower. Okay. So, and I have years where these numbers are higher. I have numbers where these years are lower. And I'm convinced it really has nothing to do with me. It has everything to do with your time and your schedule and just whether or not you're ready to engage in new material or not. So I don't know if we got the musical, right? So Abby's in the musical. So she's memorizing lines, so she's got to be ready to like drop down to here, okay? So because she ain't gonna be doing any math. There can be no math happening for Abby. She's gonna be doing Dorothy, for crying out loud, okay? Now the fact is you got a lot going on, right? So I get it. So you might not be able to keep your normal spot. You might move a little bit, but so be it. But you're pretty good managing your time. Probably the bigger issue is that people who are like, you know what, I've just always been smart at math and I'm just going to figure it out. Well, good for you. Some people put their work off to the last minute, and if you do that, maybe it's worked for you so far. Good for you. Somebody is going to be crying after this next test, okay? I promise. We will have a person who will have their best test of the year, and we'll have a person who they will be ready to be too. So they're like, holy crap, that just happened? Like, I thought I was good at math. Folks, if you haven't learned it right now, math doesn't care how smart you are. It wants you to learn the new material. And most of the stuff you're going to learn from this is new material. So I'm going to hand back your tests. They were great. Way to go. You're super smart. Your first quarter is basically done. I'll get these in grade book as soon as I can. I'll hand them back in no particular order. Remember, you're never as good as your best test. You're never as bad as your worst. You're somewhere in between. Learn to live in the middle.
Can you explain extra credit question as test?
I'll show you the answer.
Did you get it?
Only one person got the extra credit. That was Clara Thompson, and this is the answer to extra credit. So a lot of you guys make great attempts. You got messy with your algebra. You just didn't cancel all the terms right. So sorry about that. It's not extra credit is kind of misleading, isn't it? Like extra credit usually means like people have a chance at it. Usually there's only like a couple people in class that get it.
Oh.
Yeah, because you're such a bad thing.
Oh no.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah,
because then that
yeah,
turns
that's
into-
like, oh. It looks like 2 to the first amount.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. That's cool.
Bad page.
That'd be
Bad
it.
page.
Wait, I gotta do some calculations.
Sorry.
Better than the first one. Hey, you go word.
Okay.
I just gotta learn.
I thought it was like, I got look at.
I did it worse than I did, like, it's not terrible, but.
Okay, couple things to make sure we're on the same page. Number one, you get one retake a semester. I gave everybody the free option of a retake for the first test, but you get one retake a semester. And so the most commonly retaken test is this next one, just to let you know. Second thing, if you please look in your tests at problem 5, A, B, C, D, and F. That was where you're stating the domain. Some people did a great job. Other people, you could tell that they really struggle with that domain idea. You're going to have that same type of question on the next test. So you've got to be able to figure out domain eventually. If you still don't know how to do domain, you're going to have to work through it because that's going to come up again, okay? And the part that I want to talk to you about is problem number 9. Number 9 is with the coordinates. This was the only part of the test where I kind of was disappointed. I'm like, shoot, we made more mistakes than what I thought we would. So I just want to be clear. The most important part of this test that you could have is if it's on the outside, it impacts it vertically. On the inside, horizontally. So is this the outside or inside?
Outside.
So it's going to change the y value, right? It's going to change the y value. This is going to change the x value. This is going to take the y value, multiply it by 3. This one, you're going to add 1 to the x value right here because it's right 1. So plus 1 to x. And then you multiply the y by 2 and add 3. That's what you do the y. So some people really struggle with that. We did have notes on it. We had a homework assignment on it. And we also had your study guide. So I tried to make it very clear what we're having there. So I'm sorry if that didn't work out for you. I never take joy when people get problems wrong. I just try to think back to myself, shoot, what did I do to prepare people? But sometimes it's not what I did, sometimes what you did or didn't do. So We'll leave it at that. Couple things moving forward. Number one, raise your hand if you're a senior. Got 1, 2, 3, 4. Just 4 of you? Just 4 of you. So good for you guys. I've taken time to just acknowledge our seniors that are taking this class. In case you don't know, I think this is important to understand. This is the lowest number of seniors that we have ever had in the history of Alberta High School take advanced classes. Never been this low in our entire life. Okay? Last year, when you guys were juniors, a lot of you took chemistry, right? Okay? It used to be that we would have, like, say, 4 chemistry classes and 2 chemistry in the community classes. Last year, there was 1 chemistry class, and there were 5 chemistry in the community classes. Nobody wanted to take the harder chemistry class. This year, as you guys are seniors, I have 15 students taking calculus. I had a year I had 47 kids taking calculus. 15 is by far the smallest number I've ever had. If you notice, even in pre-calculus seniors, you are dominated by having more juniors in class, right? So, good for you seniors for being tough and taking the tough classes that many of your peers are not taking. That is super important, okay? So good for you. I have one last piece of surety before we get to our notes, but I need those tests back. Again, if you ever say, you know what, I want to retest that thing, then let me know, and we can go over something together. Sir?
I was just wondering why, like, these were.
So, I'm assuming that scribble means your work. That's not your graph.
No, that is my graph. You do.
Is that your graph?
No, that's just where that's just a line, and then I scribbled in where
Do you understand from my perspective, it looks like the scribble is what you want to scribble out?
Yes.
Okay.
I see that.
Got it. I understand now. I believe you.
Okay.
So, make sure that when I enter your score, that it's 2 points higher than that. If I don't, let me know, but I'll remember that, okay? Or change it right now.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Are you guys ready for the banquet?
Of course.
Banquet?
I
did not say banquet.
Yeah, next time I'm gonna like people.
Yeah, freaking Hartman's bringing his whole
Family treat.
How many people?
Seven.
Seven. Yeah. I thought I was gonna be pushing it with 5. I wouldn't even count my little brother.
3, 4, 5. He's got 2 sisters, right?
Okay, as we move along, this is a grade reflection sheet. I pulled it out from a couple years ago. I had to send this home to every kid, have their parents sign it, stuff like that. I don't have to do that for you guys yet. Hopefully we don't. But people showed very poor study habits in some previous years. Overall, you guys are pretty good. You're growing in some ways, but just a couple things you should keep in mind. Number one, ask yourself when you're completing homework. If you're completing homework the day before the test, that's probably not the best idea. You should try to complete within the first 2 days as assigned. Now, if you tend to complete homework just the day before the test, and you say, hey, you know what, Gens? My method works out for me because I do great on the test. Great, talk to me when we get the ACT. Because when you are doing the homework, the more you're cramming for your test, you are not building in the long-term memory. And so it's best for you if you want to remember things for long-term to do it bit by bit and to sleep on it. That's important for you. Determine the consistent time each week that you work on your homework. Who's got a study hall? Okay, what does that study hall look like for you?
Studying.
Oh, good. Because I would talk to somebody another hour. They talked till they had a study hall, they got work done. And I said, bull crap, you don't get work done. I go, oh, yeah, I do. I went down and visited their study hall. They didn't even see me because they were laughing, just joking on their phone with whoever else. Like, I know how study hall goes. I know you're getting your crap done during study hall, okay? Good for you, okay? Ask yourself honestly, are you using your time in study hall wisely or not? Guys, that's self-discipline. You got to figure that out. So is that working for you or not? If you don't have study hall, then when you get it done. Some people say, I don't have time to get it done, Mr. Gens. I got work. I got sports. Like, I don't have time for school. Good, then your grade will reflect that. Be prepared to ask questions on your study guide the day before test. You guys are good at this. Other classes have not. So just to be clear, the day before the test, do you want to be working on your homework or do you want to be working on the study guide? The study guide, right? I have students that are not working on the study guide. They're working on the homework still, and they're getting to study guide late at night or not doing it at all. So if that becomes too much of a problem, what I do then is I make the homework due 2 days earlier in the future. And that never makes anybody happy, but you guys do a good job of that. So thank you for doing that, but continue, try to make sure you're working on that, okay? Stay off your phone, pay attention to class, use your retake, stuff like that. Here's the last one I have. School starts each day at what time? 8:30, okay? 8:30. Now some people are like, well, my school doesn't start until 10 o'clock because I got Riverland stuff. Well, good for you, get to sleep in, I guess. But school used to start at what time? You start right at 8. I, as a teacher, am a big promoter that we start at 8 o'clock. And the reason why is I want more time in class. I want more time to be able to teach and answer questions. So they have it at 8:30 though still. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, 8:30 is okay. That way, if students need help, they can come in at 8 o'clock because that's when they would be coming to school anyway, right? You might have to say a couple times, hey, I need to get to school by 8 to go in and see Mr. Gens. That is built in for you. But I learned an important lesson during COVID. COVID was tough. People were trying to learn from a distance, and it was tough. But every day we started school at 9:30. That gave people an hour and a half. How many people do you think I saw in that first hour and a half of school? Big fat zero in normal time. You know what I mean? Because it's just, let's just admit, we don't like to come in early, do we? Okay? I get it. So if you need help, note that that's time, and I'd like to be there for it. But that is probably the biggest change in my last 10 years of teaching, is the number of people who come in for help. It has gone from, say, 10% of kids to 1% of kids. And that's something to keep in mind. So you may need to do that, okay? All right, I have the next unit's homework. If you would please take out this parabolas worksheet that you guys got last week, and then you're just going to staple it to the back of what I hand out now. And now you have all the homework for this unit. There are only 40 days in this semester, only 40, in this quarter, excuse me. And one of them gets taken away Friday for college community fair type thing, whatever it is. And so we got to make sure that we stay on track.
It's a week and 2 days.
How long would it be from?
Get stuff done. We do not have time to waste time. I can tell you that right now.
That's your goal.
Stapler, we're going to start out over here with Miss Hannah. She's wearing the dirty Wisconsin Badgers shirt today. What possessed you to wear that shirt, Hannah?
What?
What possessed you to wear the Badgers shirt?
It might be where I go to college.
Oh, we'll accept that. But Max was wearing a Minnesota shirt the other day. So was Brackett. They took offense to the Wisconsin piece. I just want to make sure everybody feels safe in class.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. No, I'd support you if you went to Scottyville. I would. Which brings up a great point. Hannah, is it possible you would need a letter of recommendation when you go to the University of Wisconsin?
Yes.
Is there a chance that you would possibly ask Mr. Gens?
Yeah.
Mr. Gens loves to write letters of recommendation, but they are part of his time. And so I ask that time be honored. The only thing I ask is that you just ask me properly, okay? So if you need something, I just ask you to come communicate with me, tell me what you're doing, ask nicely, and I'd be probably happy to help you out. I had a student last year who needed a letter twice, and they asked me twice. There were 2 different letters. Both times they asked me the night before it was due. I wrote the letter. It was a crappy letter. So try to give me a little bit of time if you need it. Try not to just ask me just the night before, okay? I appreciate that. By the way, all of you guys that are applying for National Honor Society, I am on the committee. Anybody that asks for a recommendation be sent in, I have those all turned in, and I'm meeting today after school for that. So hopefully that should be taken care of. So if for some reason, let's say Max applied and he's only got 3 of those letters in, we're just going to assume that one of the teachers forgot to hand it in, and I don't think it's going to be a huge issue, you know what I mean? But if, let's say that none of them got turned in, I'll say, I trust that Max did what he's supposed to, because he's a pretty responsible guy, right? Because I see him each day. I don't know if that's what Bracken would say about Max. What? Exactly. So. Okay.
When do we find out if we
He was watching it?
That's one of the challenges. It's like every 2 years is a new person. I'm starting to just thinking of taking over myself when the next person gives it up, just so we have some consistency.
Yeah.
I'm on the committee every year. Why not just do it, get paid for it, you know?
Wait, who was it last year?
What is Chubby thing?
It was the counselor girl. What was her name? No, not Hatland. Not Flatness. The other one. Claire. Bradley.
Oh, no way.
What?
I stapled it to my notes. I even took the staples out of my notes so it would look nice.
Okay, guys, can I teach you how to staple? Not here. Trust me.
I wasn't gonna hit the staple.
No, watch. Here's how you staple. You go like this. You put it there, and you go. Okay. It wants to be hit. When you press it, it doesn't get the force that you want. It wants to be hit. Hit the stapler.
Hit it.
Okay, open up to this section. Here we go.
Oh, that was better.
Hey, let me get it again.
It's not your turn anymore.
Oh my gosh.
Wait. Dude, I did the same thing, Diego.
You see? Oh, that's what you get.
I wasn't laughing.